But massive success. There's a place in that book that I really liked where you describe a story where someone visits your home and says, "Oh, Ivan, you're so lucky."
Yeah. Now you got to point out though, you know that because I told you at one point that he was talking about my home, but in the book, I don't mention that it was my home that he was looking at and pointing at. But you've given a little tidbit to everybody that's in the book or that's not in the book, which is good.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I'm giving them a good reason to pick up the book, because Masters of Success is a wonderful book. It's very informative and inspiring. But I want to touch on this topic with you, because this idea of you're so lucky to have all this is it's not really true.
No. In this story that you're talking about that I write about in the book, I had a friend who looked around. He was looking at my house. He said, "Wow, man, you're really lucky." And I looked at him and I thought, wow. He really doesn't get it. And I said to him, yeah, I'm lucky. Would you like to know my secret to my luck? And he said, yeah, I'd love to know your secret. He said, here it is, okay? First, I went to college for 10 years. During that time, I started a couple of businesses. And then during the next 2 decades, I worked about 60 hours a week, mortgaged my house a couple of times for the business, and wrote 8 books. If you apply that kind of effort to whatever you do, you can be just as lucky.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And you know the funny thing is, the guy didn't get it.
He didn't get it.
No, he heard me, but it just went through. It's like, no. I hear what you're saying, but now there's got to be something else. You just had good breaks, and you just had this. And I don't think he was paying attention that it's really, and I talk about this a lot in the book, that success is about making good choices and hard work. And you got to do both.
You do. Not
just one. People work really hard all their life, and they keep making really stupid choices. And they can't figure out why they're not successful.
I am going to once again confirm my theory that you are a coach. So, yeah, it's about making great choices. And I think, just kind of returning to our, to Chris's house here and talking about passion. So, yeah, you've mortgaged your home a couple of times. You've worked the 60 hours a week. The fuel's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? So the fuel to go through those obstacles, and I think I talk about the same thing with me. People go, "Oh, Dave, you have Coachville, you're so lucky." I'm saying, yeah, 10 years ago I was living in my car, and eating one meal a day at all-you-can-eat diners. So if you want to call that luck, then yeah, I guess I'm pretty darn lucky. So it's the passion that gets us through these times. And so I think, it'd be great to hear some of the challenges that you've faced and how your passion got you through them.
Oh, we've certainly had a lot of challenges. And any successful person, anybody that's running a successful business has had many challenges in their life. I certainly have. All the way from the very beginning, finding the right people in any company is always difficult. And when as we're growing and becoming national and then international, continually finding the correct people is a problem. Creating a system. One of the things that I did early on was really listen to Michael Gerber in his book, The E-Myth, where he talks about write everything down. When you're doing something, write it down so that you can make it replicable. And as you grow, you can replicate that. And I thought, you know what, I should do that. And he even says in there, do it like you're going to create a franchise. Even if you're never planning on franchising, do it as though you were going to franchise. And I took that to heart and I started doing it. And you know what, 5 years later, I was franchising. And one of the reasons that made it so easy to start franchising was the fact that I had done all of this work that was suggested by Gerber in one of his books. And it made the franchising process very easy, but it was a lot of work along the way. Creating the systems, trial and error. If you ever look at, there's probably a number of listeners here that are BNI members. If you ever visit a BNI group or you go to a BNI group, if you ever look at it and you say, "Wow, this is really good. This is really organized," it's because we've screwed up so much along the way.
Yes, there you go.
We got it right. If you make enough mistakes, you can finally get it right. And let me tell you, we made so many mistakes along the way. We just had no idea what we were doing as we were creating it, but we had such a passion for what we were doing that I think a lot of people were forgiving for the mistakes that we made.
Yes.
Some weren't, but many were.
Yes, it's a very good point. It reminds me of one of my mentors always says, anything worth doing is worth doing wrong.
A couple of times,
At least for a little while.
Yeah. So, well, we've certainly done that. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. You and me both. But I think it's a good point. When you look at building something and all the trial and error and all the mistakes and all the pissed off customers along the way and trying to get them back and keeping them. Often it's your passion for what you're doing that lets people stay with you. Even through the chaos.
Yeah. It really is. Yeah, if you can, I've dealt with members who were very, very unhappy about something or another, and I'm pleased to say that I think sometimes I'm able to turn them around because of the passion that I have for the organization and talking to them from a perspective of how to make this work, how to see the glass half full rather than half empty, and how to make it work for them.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And but when you talk about your passion for your business, I have to say, knowing you, your passion goes way beyond the business. And your passion for people and for the members of BNI, like every member and every chapter, it's just you have this incredible desire for them to learn how to be great networkers, to build thriving businesses. And so, how do you do that? I know what your passion's all about, but how do you actually teach people to be great networkers? And how did what was the number you said? How much money was passed through BNI last year? Some incredible number.
Right. Well, we don't have the number now for 2005 because it just ended. But the number that Chris gave was our 2004 numbers.
Wow.
We passed 3.3 million referrals and generated 1.5 billion with a B, $1.5 billion worth of business for our members worldwide. Now that's the same as the gross domestic product for the country of Liechtenstein.
Wow. Okay, you guys are like a country now.
That's right. It's a small country, Dave, I know. But I tell you, what's really cool to me is that a group of business people from a lot of different countries could get together every single week, get to know one another, trust one another, build relationships with one another, and actually pass as much business to each other as a small